My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my ranking of Alfonso Cuarón's directed movies from worst to best. Now, Alfonso Cuarón is a director I greatly admire. It does take him a little bit to establish his style, but once he does, he really excels at it. I think he finds a way to tell his stories in such accessible fashion. His movies always look great, they sound great, and his directing elevates each and every one of his movies for the most part. I almost forgot one. but This might be a hard take. I actually prefer it when he does his Hollywood movies because I just feel like his style makes him feel fresh and new. So whatever he makes next, I kind of hope it'll be an accessible blockbuster that he brings his directing vision to it. So yes, but let's get started with the ranking. First with his worst movie, and this one was actually a very easy pick for me. And maybe it's because I just had high expectations, or should I say great expectations, but it really fell flat. And that's Great Expectations. I hated this movie. Out of all of Alfonso Cuarón's movies, this is the one that doesn't feel like he made it in any way, shape, or form. The music choices are just very questionable. It doesn't look great. It's very bland. It's very lifeless. And then you've got two great actors in Ethan Hawke and Gwyneth Paltrow, and though given some of the worst performances ever, I couldn't care less about this main romance no matter how badly the movie wanted me to. And then you've got this bookend story regarding Robert De Niro's character, and that was just absurd in all the worst ways. And yeah, like this movie just did nothing for me. I found it to be just relentlessly boring, and it's one I'll never revisit. His second worst movie is Solo con tu pareja, and this is his first movie, and it's just one you watch and you're like, it just did nothing for me. I did find it to be very boring. I watched it like 2 months ago now at this point, and I remember very little about it except for a couple amusing sitcom-like situations that the main character gets into, but yeah, there's just no reason to watch this movie unless you just want to watch all of Alfonso Cuarón's filmography, which is what I did. So yeah, this is one just in the eyes and out the other. That's not, it works with when you say in one ear, out the other, but not with eyes. The bottom line is, I watched it, I'll never watch it again. Just, yeah. His sixth best movie, or his third worst, is Roma. Now, this is a very well directed movie. The cinematography is absolutely stunning. I love how it makes you feel like an observer. The movie's got some great editing. There is some genuine emotion. There are some great performances. But it's also not one I ever feel the urge to go back to. I've watched it twice now, and that's more than enough for a lifetime for me. Just not entertaining enough, not emotional enough, not well written enough. Just a movie you watch and you're like, yeah, that was well made. And then you go about your life and never think about it again, and that's what this movie did for me. But the next movie on this list is Tu Mamá También. And I gave it a 7 out of 10. In hindsight, I kind of wish I'll give it a 6. Because it's just not my kind of movie. Now, it's very well written. It treats the characters with a level of care. There is depth, there is nuance, and it does have some real emotion in it. I thought the performance by the actress's name, which I did not write down. Hold on one second. I gotta find out what her name is because she just gives an incredible performance. Maribel Verdú. She is fantastic in this movie. Like, she should have been nominated and won a bunch of awards for it. She's that good. The movie does have funny moments. It has its charm. So yeah, like it's still a very well made, very well written movie, just not quite for me. His fourth best movie is A Little Princess. And this is just the type of movie we don't get anymore. It deals with heavy and important subject matter while being accessible for kids, and it does a great job handling it. There is also some real emotion regarding the daughter and her relationship with her father and just how hopeless things start to look for her later on. I think the movie is very well shot. I think Liza Matthews gives a great performance. So yeah, it's one I do really like. I do think the ending is actually really bad, and some of the effects in this movie just don't hold up in any way. It's not like, oh, that looks bad, but it has its charm to it. It just looks bad in moments. If you've seen it, you know exactly what moments I'm talking about. But you still got yourself a very good kid-friendly movie here that I recommend. So that's why it's in fourth place. My third favorite Alfonso Cuarón directed movie is Children of Men. This is one movie I've always liked, but rewatching it, you just are able to understand the themes it's going for much better, and it's very powerful. Just this whole idea of trying to find hope in a hopeless world, of trying to find a purpose that's beyond you. It just does a great job of exploring those ideas, and it's so ingrained in the story, in the characters, in the world around them. And that scene when they're leaving the hospital and all the fighting stops. It is one of the most beautiful, moving moments in film history. And I think this movie is incredibly well made. There's one singular take sequence which is quite breathtaking. The performances are all great. Clive Owen carries this movie incredibly well. Julianne Moore is really great as well for the short time she's in it. And I'm sorry to do this again, but I forgot the other actress's name. It's... oh my goodness, why is she so far down on IMDb? This is just absurd. Claire Hope Ashity. She's really good as well. And you've also got yourself some pretty decent action sequences. Not a lot, it's a lot more heavy on the drama, but it's a very well written, well acted, well directed movie that ends on a very strong note too. So yes, that's why it's my third favorite Alfonso Cuarón movie. My second favorite is Gravity. It's a movie I've loved since I saw it in the theaters, and I still love it to this day. It is just an experience watching this movie. The technical aspects are unbelievable. The visual effects look as real as can be. The cinematography is mind-blowing how they did some of this stuff. The sound, or the lack of it, is just so effective, and it just captures that terrifying nature of space, how it's endless, and if you're stuck there, one little slip up and you can just float away, and that's it for you. And you feel that in every second of this movie, whether it's her trying to use a fire extinguisher to grab onto a space station, or if she opens a door and it just blows open, like you're just on edge the entire time, and it's just so beautifully made. Sandra Bullock gives her best performance ever. George Clooney is so charismatic and likable, and you've just got yourself a very powerful movie about the human spirit and the desire to keep going, no matter how dire the circumstances seem to be. And it does have some real emotion. There's one moment where Sandra Bullock's character is giving up, and she has some hallucinations, and it could have came across as cheesy and dumb, but it's just moving. And Stephen Price's score is phenomenal, and just everything about this movie is excellent for me. I absolutely love it. But my favorite Alfonso Cuarón directed movie is the only one I didn't review. And I will review it at a future date along with the other movies in this franchise, but it's Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Look, I love this franchise. I really love the first two movies. But this movie begins, and within the first minute, you can tell there's a more confident vision behind it. And the result is my favorite Harry Potter movie. It is just outstanding in every way. It is entertaining, it is accessible, but you just feel Alfonso Cuarón's fingerprints throughout the entire movie. It is just visually striking, beautifully shot, truly. I love the Dementors and how when they're on the bus, the ice comes with them, or if they go past a flower, the flower dies, or if Harry's playing Quidditch and they go after him, you feel the threat. It's just, no one is safe. You've also got some other great world building aspects like the night bus. That's a really fun and wacky sequence. You've got the book that comes alive. You've got the, I forget what it's called, but the things that transform into your greatest fear. I love that sequence. Like, it's a really fun movie as well. It's not just dark. I love the Marauders map and the backstory of it. I love how the Whopping Willow comes more into play. I love how there's a werewolf. I love how in the background of a shot, there's just this wanted poster for Sirius Black, and he's moving in the poster. It's just, this world has never felt so alive and just so filled with personality in life, and I love all those small touches. I think the musical score by John Williams is one of his finest works, and that's saying a lot considering it's John Williams. Windows to the Past is just beautiful. I can listen to that music any day. Buckbeak's flight adds a sense of awe and wonder and genuine emotion to a real breathtaking moment. But I think you've also got yourself some great character work of Harry, as he goes through a lot in this movie, and I feel like he really comes to his own as his own defined character here. There is some real emotion, and when he thinks it's his dad who saves him from the Dementors, and he goes back in time and he realizes, no, the power is in him. It has been all this time. It sounds cheesy, but it's so powerful and so emotional, and the music and the sound, it is just incredible stuff. And I've mentioned the time traveling, and the first time I saw this movie, it just blew my mind. Like, it utilizes it in such smart fashion, and it's really fun. I love seeing Hermione punch Draco, and it's still as charming as ever, but it has more darker elements. It's got more emotion. The story is the best of the bunch. It's got some amazing visuals. It's just a total blaster of a movie. It's one of my favorites of all time. I just love it. And that's why it's my favorite Alfonso Cuarón movie. So, yes, but what's your ranking of Alfonso Cuarón's movies? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon. And Gavin, out.